Hey, yo, what's up? This Disciple Marcello Currents reign back up in this anti-Illuminati all day, anti-America all day, anti-gang stalker all day, anti-all secret societies. Okay, so this video right here is going to be about uh, how can America talk about child sex when they have a type of child that they have sex with by law. They have sex with a type of child by law, right? So how can they talk about any pedophilia, any child molesting, any throw any games concerning any psychological games, do any operations at all concerning pedophilia? How can they do it? Because they have a type of child that they like. This is by law, whether you like it, whether the community likes it, whether people on YouTube, the staff, whether you like it or not. This is the facts, because they try to pull down my videos. And I'm gonna make a campaign off this. I'm gonna make a sub campaign off the fact that the American community likes a type of child, because that's what you hated right there. It wasn't no reason to pull it down. It was no reason to pull the video down. Because if you read between the lines, if I'm making jokes about their behavior, how is that predatory? How is that predatory? Because in my as far as from me, how is that predatory? How is that making me a predator? If I'm showing in a humorous way their behavior. So all it was I just hit the target. I hit the bullseye, which is they like a type of child. That's the problem. They like a type of child. They like a certain type of children sexually. Yeah, they didn't like that part. They pulled down my video on both pages when there was really no real reason to do it. What the problem is, maybe they on my side. I don't know. Maybe they trying to get me to go hard because that's all I'm gonna do. I'm built like that. If you hit me, I'm gonna hit you harder. If you hit me once, I'm gonna hit you twice. That's how I'm built. That's how I'm built. So maybe they was trying to trick me for the good, to do more good. Because that's all I'm gonna do. Now I'm gonna make a sub campaign, because this is the point that we really need, that really just brings this all home when I think about it. When I thought about it, I was thinking, now why was this video pulled down? Because it's really no different than anything I've ever said. I've made jokes concerning the nature of these pedophiles before. I've made jokes, concerning this. It's so crazy. How can you not make a joke? How can there not be a joke in the middle of this foolishness? You can't be serious. You can't be serious. There's got to be a joke in the middle of that. So that wasn't the common denominator, because I've been doing that. And I definitely myself am not saying anything in a predator nature. Obviously, what sense would that make? I'm not saying nothing in a predator nature myself. They just wish so bad it was me. But in actuality, man, you got 43 states of child marriage in America. And now I'm informing more people nationwide, all on Facebook, just in case, YouTube think this is the only platform I got going on. And I just definitely need them. I don't definitely need anyone. As long as I got my mouth to open my mouth, I will continue to spread the truth that this country, we have a pedophile 43 states of child marriage country called America. We have that in our community. Remind you, China does not have child marriage. Russia does not have child marriage. America does. Okay? So America likes a type of children while they sit back and just scoff and talk craziness about pedophiles. This is for your whole community. How can you, in your right mind, talk about pedophiles when you have 43 states of child marriage? I mean, that's real. How can you talk about it in your right mind, educated, aware of your surroundings. How can you do it? I don't understand it. I don't see how you can bring yourself to do it. I don't understand how you can bring yourself to talk about the issue seriously as men and women when you have 43 states of child marriage, which means your culture and community likes a type of child. Now, like I've explained before, you have two types of human beings in the world, an adult and a child. This is the question I ask everybody. Do you believe adults should be having sex with children? Yes or no? I'm not splitting hairs about it. I'm not asking what age of child you feel and all of that. They should be doing this, that, and the third. Do you think that adults should be having sex with children? Didn't ask you what age of children. So obviously a person sound of mind is going to say no. So why they got child marriage in 43 states? Why do America like a type of child? They show us through the child marriage laws that they like a type of child. They like a type of child. Okay. So how can, in my opinion, how can you judge a pedophile? Who are you to judge a pedophile? You got child marriage for crying out loud. You got child marriage for crying out loud. You can't be serious. Not you. Maybe China, maybe Russia, but you can't be serious when you got child marriage. You got child hubbies and child wifeys. Hey, do your wife sit at the dinner table at Denny's? I mean, does she sit at the child table at Denny's? When she goes to IHOP, does she go to the child section, the child table? Hey, I'm talking about the people who got child marriage. When they go to IHOP, do they go to the child table? That's what we talk about. We ain't playing no games. You got little league marriage now. Just like you got the MLB, the Major League Baseball, they got little league marriage. Yes, it's little league marriage, guys. We got little league marriage. This is little league marriage. That's what you call it. Child marriage is little league marriage, isn't it? We call that little league. That's a little league marriage. Come on, guys, we got little league marriage. We got little league marriage going on here. Are you Americans informed that y'all have little league marriage? You got little league marriage. It's little league. Yeah. Can't be serious. And then they running around locking up people. You can't be serious. That's why I told you, man, this is the beginning of anarchy, because no one feels the need to obey a system that contradicts itself this sharply. And now that the American community know, how you think that's going to pan out? That's a good word to use, term to use. How you think this all going to pan out when the entire community now, crazy people included, extremists included, prisoners that kill pedophiles included, all the thugs and gangsters and all the in-betweens included, the preachers included, all the, how you think it's gonna pan out when all the actors and singers who defended your integrity, all military too, police too, all the lawyers and attorneys and judges, how you think it's gonna all pan out when they find out y'all got 43 states of child marriage? Now I know you got the people that sit back and they want to be biased about the situation. They want to be biased on America's side. And you got the dark patriots that's going to defend America at any cost. They don't care what America do. They're going to defend America, so I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about all the people they have not considered that reason just like I do. And some that are extremists who don't care what happens to a country that has child marriage in it. See, the bad part about hiding something like this is so much of a contradiction that everyone is going to want blood. It's too much of a contradiction. You made us feel like you were a child protecting country and you wasn't. You made us feel like you were for children and you contradict yourself by law, which is the worst way to contradict yourself. In this situation with children, that's the worst way. That you actually pass child marriage laws? That's the worst way you can contradict yourself. And so for people that don't know, I've been on this. This isn't somebody hacking my brain or hacking me, or this isn't my Darth Vader moment. Go check me on YouTube. I've been talking about this almost over 3 years. Over 3 years. So don't flatter yourself like you've done something to me to make me have a Darth Vader moment or something. Don't flatter yourself. You've done nothing. I've come to the truth of America. And the rest of you are in denial, just like you was in denial about COVID-19. And now the truth is here. The truth is here, big baby. And I don't care how you shuck and jive. I don't care how you waltz and shimmy and try to do the mashed potato. Whatever you do, when you get done doing that, you still got 43 states of child marriage, man. Okay? That's what you got going on. America likes a type of child. Come to terms with it. You will not silence me about this. They like a type of child, right? Which is the bullseye in the situation. Do you like a type of child? Do you like a type of child? As a person of integrity and morality, there's no type of child that you want to have sex with, right? No type of child, right? Not 17, not 16, not 15, not 14, not 13. No teenage. If it's not 18, there's no type of child, there's no type of teenager that you want to have sex with, right? If they're not adult ages. Why America in 43 states has a type of child that they like to interact with sexually? Why is that going on? That's a type of child. And this is the bullseye. So thank you, YouTube, because I really didn't pay attention. Like, I knew I had something, but I've always had something with the whole child marriage situation anyway. But I think I kind of articulated it perfectly, and I struck a nerve. And so now we got a sub campaign. We're going to go into the whole nucleus of how America likes a type of child. They like a type of child, right? There's no grown masculine men around here, brawny men. A man that's a man's man that likes a type of child, right? You don't like a type of child as a real man, right? As a woman that's naturally a caretaker of children, you don't like a type of child, do you? Sexually speaking. There's no type of child that turns you on, is it? When you're naturally a caretaker, you're naturally a mother. When women want a mature man, there's no type of boy that turns you on, is it? Okay, so then why? So then why would you be in alliance and in allegiance with a country that has a type of child that turns them on? It turns them on sexually. That's what I'm gonna do another video about that. The type of child that turns America on sexually. There's a type. There is no type of child that turns me on sexually. You have to be 18. They don't feel that way. They feel there's a type of child that turns them on sexually. Yeah, you shouldn't listen. You shouldn't have started a war of morality. That's the last war you want to start with a Christian. What was you thinking? Blowing your head off. That's retarded. Who's going to start a morality war with a Christian? When I can pull any card of sin that you have in your community and defeat you. But see, I'm not the person that rub people's nose and things, right? I'm not, but I could easily. I could pick from basically anything that you got going. Basically anything you got going, I can pick from it. And I can pick from anybody that you respect. I can do that. I can tear down anybody in this community in America that you respect, but I have not chosen to go that route. Why you think I'm being judgmental? I could have torn down every celebrity that you love. I could have torn down everybody you respected. They all in sin. I didn't go that route. I kept my nose clean. I talked about real issues, and I'm talking about real issues continuously that anyone will be concerned about and anyone in America should be informed about. Okay? Child marriage, yeah. Once you know about that, man, and they've been playing the enemy on top of that, put two and two together. What you think I should do? Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm right on track with the people that have been playing games with me, and here they are with 43 states of child marriage, liking a type of child. Can't be serious. Listen, man, it ain't my fault. Who you mad at, me or yourself? That's what I like to say. Who you mad at, me or yourself? Because at the end of the day, this is an honest complaint about something that you're doing. This is an honest complaint about something that your government is doing. This is an honest complaint that has nothing to do with me. I didn't make them do that. Did I make them do it? Okay, I didn't make them do it, did I? Okay, so they on their own on that, man. They're just getting their car pulled. Like they should get their car pulled. You don't come out here with any American citizens playing morality games with a Christian, and you got 43 states of child marriage. That's what I'm gonna call it, a morality game. You playing a morality game, a game of purity, when you have 43 states of child marriage, man. Come on, man. Who intelligence are you insulting? Who intelligence are you insulting here? Okay, it's a joke to me. Okay, and I don't care who it is doing it. I don't care what information you have. You got 43 states of child marriage. I don't see how any of you can bring yourself to do anything based, and it doesn't matter what information you have. That's why it's the end of this country, don't you see? Because it doesn't matter what information you have. It's just now anything goes. There has to be the mentality when you have child marriage in 43 states. How is not the child marriage? How is not the mentality? So you're going to be severely punishing people over here, but got child marriage over there. Make it make sense, bro. That's all we asking. Make it make sense. You're going to punish people over here, but have child marriage over there. You're going to hold people to a standard of morality with children, right? Like they looking at you, better be on your best behavior. But you got child marriage over here, big baby. Big baby, you got child marriage over here. That's a type of child that you like. See, all it is most of it is a form of white supremacy. That's what it is. Because they can do whatever they want. They don't have to answer to anyone, right? Basically, yo, it's not black privilege. You tell me what it is. It's white supremacy privilege. When people can sit up and marry children, but then persecute R. Kelly. How can your culture persecute R. Kelly when y'all got child marriage? How can you talk about mute R. Kelly and you got child marriage? Doesn't make sense to me, bro. And that's why anarchy is on the way. I coined the term laws of conflict. Might seem very simple, but listen. Laws of conflict. It's when you have laws that contradict the morality, integrity, and character and definition of another. I coined that term. There may be other terms talking about conflict and laws and blah, 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 but not like I've made it. Laws of conflict. Laws that contradict the integrity, character, right, and definition of other laws, which therefore voids the whole system and makes the whole system invalid. See, what you have to understand is you got to listen very close to this information. No one else is doing this. No one else is going around with a law system. Hear this part. No one in the country, no one in the world, you don't find many people in the world that is going in two different directions in their law system. If they're having sex with children, they're not locking other people up for doing the same thing. Now you see what I'm saying? There are other systems around the world. I got to do a video on this too. Other countries around the world are not they don't have child sex laws, and then lock other people up with other laws on the other side of the spectrum. Now you see what I'm saying. You can't have a system like who intelligence are you insulting? No one's going to respect this system. Now you see what I'm saying. You've become so used to, I don't know, maybe you become so used to contradictions, you think it's all good. You think it's all good. It's not all good. You cannot have a law system that contradicts itself, because it makes whatever the contradiction makes whatever is being contradicted void and invalid. So how you gonna lock, in other words, how you gonna lock people up for child molestation and you have child marriage and you like a type of child? Now your whole system is invalid. Oh, I can make it make sense. Right? I'm in my right mind. I know you want to split hairs, but the bottom line is I'm right. Whether you think I'm crazy or not, these facts ain't crazy. Listen, these facts are real. And the contradiction is real. And as long as you're contradicting yourself, no one will hold your law system as valid or esteem it as valid. It is invalid. It's like this. If you had laws on brutality, right? Just brutality, just beating somebody down, not a racial thing, just brutality in general. So if you're brutal, if you perform any acts of brutality over here, okay, you getting locked up, right? But then you can have illegal boxing over here, which is brutality. You hear what I just said? You can have illegal boxing, and the government gives a law for it. This is a parallel. This is an analogy. This is not real. This is an analogy. This is an illustration. Okay? This is an illustration, an example of how a contradiction looks. So you have brutality, okay? You have brutality laws. You lock somebody up for brutality. Boom. Now, the government provides illegal boxing laws where it's okay in 43 states to have illegal boxing laws, which is brutality. Let's just put some details in it. In this boxing, you don't have to wear gloves. No bars are held. It's a no holds barred boxing style that the government has given rights to the Americans to perform in 43 states. Now, how would you feel that there's literal brutality going on over here by law? Illegal boxing where people are getting pulverized, but then for sport. And then you lock somebody else up for doing the same thing. Let's just say, in other words, what if you justify, it's still the same thing in nature, right? It's still the same thing, right? But let's just say you justify that. And then, but it's the same thing in nature, but you didn't justify this. That's the same thing with the pedophilia. You got pedophilia over here in child marriage, but you justify that. But when somebody does it out here on the streets, we got to lock that person up. What's the difference between the person that's in a child marriage and the person that's on the streets? Some would say child marriage is worse. Some would say child marriage is worse because you have the child 24/7 while the pedophile has random acts of pedophilia here and there. The child marriage person has the law, the child marriage person has the child 24/7. 24/7. It's a no-brainer. Child marriage is worse. Is anybody debating as far as the nature of pedophilia in the amount of it, in the excess of it? Is anybody debating that whether a random act of pedophilia is worse than child marriage? Anybody still don't know which one is worse? So we all settled that because the child is with the predator. Now you see it for what it is. They're with the predator 24/7, which means a constant get off all the time, which is already bad. He or she is laying around naked with this child. It's a 24/7 get off. It's worse. It's absolutely worse than some random act of pedophilia at Target or Walmart. That can't compare to somebody who has the child 24/7, which is a 24/7 constant get off. They're in the guardianship of the pedophile 24/7. They're in the guardianship of this pedophile 24/7. And that's what child marriage is. That's the details of it. And why? And here's the thing. See, you'll say, well, why is all this coming up? Because your community is playing games of morality. Like it's a game, right? Like it's a game to accuse people of being pedophiles. Like it's a game. Yeah, now you see what I'm saying. And they think it's a game to sit around and play these games with these operations that I call pedophilia entrapment operations, which is they take and use children outside in gang stalking operations to trigger the mind of their enemies. The Illuminati, the Freemasons are using children as weapons of war in what I coined as a term, entrapment, pedophilia entrapment operations. I coined that term too. Pedophilia entrapment operations, where they use children to entrap you in the nature or character of a pedophile when you are not. So they get you, here's the thing. They get you with a nature, like they get you when you're self-conscious. Like, did I do something wrong? Why is it? Because your energy is picking up on it. And that's where they snap and wrap something around you and put a jar on it. And now they call you a pedophile because you was just self-conscious because you picked up on it. Now see, when you pick up on something, you don't supposed to act normal. You're a human being that God has given all types of intuition. And if your intuition is telling you that it's not right, then it's not right. And so what the white community and the black community is expecting you to do, well, if you ain't guilty, you should just act normal. No, I shouldn't. Let me stop your whole American philosophy right now. Why should I act normal when something abnormal is going on? Boom, Al, that's a 7. Why should I act normal when something abnormal is going on? And my intuition is picking up on it. Nah, that's that. Listen. That's that hood politic, military meets police foolishness. If I pick up on something, I'm going to act like I know. Oh, I want you to know that I know. First of all, I want you to know that I know. So you can see my level and grade and see that you ain't doing nothing. I see what you're doing. But meanwhile, you got 43 states of child marriage. That's what we tripping off of. And that's why the war is ongoing and this campaign is ongoing, because you have Freemasons, Illuminati, used as tools for the American government in portions of the black community and portions of the white community and the Hispanic community. They're being used as tools by those three communities: the American government, the black community, the white community, and the Hispanic community. Those four communities. I've watched it long enough to know. And the funny thing to me, what's most hilarious, is they got 43 states of child marriage. So you like a type of child here in America. But yet here you are, as if you're catching something outside of who you are. In other words, like it ain't somebody that's like you. A pedophile is just like you, buddy. Hey, how you amazed at it when it's like you? It's right there in your face. You got 43 states of child marriage. It's right there in your face, buddy. If you're intrigued about the nature of pedophiles, all you got to do is look at these Americans. Well, somebody in the middle of that haystack made 43 states of child marriage, big baby. Somebody in the haystack made 43 states of child marriage, which shows that your country, your lawmakers, not some wayward men in the woods, your lawmakers like a type of child. And you acting like I got something wrong with me, like I'm special needs or something. So let's talk to the psychiatrist. Psychiatrists, do you esteem these people that made 43 states of child marriage mentally sound? They're in their right mind. Now, hear this part. Not just on the definition of the child, not just if it's an age that you can have sex with them, based on their culture that has nothing to do with it and how they would want blood for foolishness like this. But yet they still pass it when their culture is crazy about children. Do you think they're sound of mind? Do you think can you esteem them in your right mind now? Don't be biased. Don't you be biased now. Can you esteem them as sound of mind? That's what we asking. Can you esteem them as sound of mind? That's all I'm asking. You can't, can you? Won't you start the diagnosing then? Hey, won't you start the diagnosing? Let the diagnosis games begin. Okay? Let the diagnosis games begin, buddy. You got 43 states of child marriage, man. I don't esteem none of them as sound-minded. When you got a whole country that will be up in arms for children, you're crazy for doing it for that reason. Where you got a whole crazy country crazy about children, and you make child marriage laws. Your last child marriage law was passed under the Trump administration. For the psychiatrists, you need to know this, because you're gonna say, "Well, these laws were made a long time ago." These laws were not made a long time ago. The last laws were made under the Trump administration. So what you got to say about that, psychiatrist? When the last child marriage law was made under the Trump administration, do you esteem them as sound of mind to make child marriage laws 3 years ago when the culture is the way it is now? They're not sound, right? Next question. Do you esteem these as real men that would make child marriage laws? Are they real men? So a real man says, "Yeah, I'm going to go put these child marriage laws into action." A real man that works hard, that is real masculine, that has the codes of honor and codes of conduct that real men have, they can pull themselves and find themselves down wherever they go to make child marriage laws. A real man would do that. A real man would not do that. So I don't esteem them even as real men. While you talk about gay men, let's talk about these straight men that pass child marriage laws when a real man wouldn't do it. See, we need to start getting to these yes and no's about these situations. Yeah, I got a questionnaire going on here. Are they real men or not? They're not, are they? Okay, then. Next question. For the women that had a part in it, possibly had a part in it. Are those real women that passed child marriage law in 43 states? Women are naturally caretakers. Women naturally take care of children. Women naturally are endeared with children, some would say. More than a man, a woman is endeared with children. Men are not as endeared with children as women are, right? In most situations, women are more endeared with children, right? That's kind of in a woman's nature, right? But they expect your men to be like that here. That's a 7 hour. Boom. Yeah, it's in a woman nature to be all endeared with children. I don't know any real men that's like that. I'm not saying you can't love children and care for them, but women are endeared with children. I need to do a video on that. Men ain't no walking around here endeared with children. Well, I guess some of them are when they got 43 states of child marriage now, aren't they? I guess some men are endeared with children, aren't they? You got 43 states of child marriage. You a Walt Disney cartoon character, a pedophile character. Like some character that Walt Disney made up. Sitting around here endeared with children. But let me get back to the women. Women are naturally endeared with children, right? So do you esteem and are naturally caretakers? Those two things. Endeared with children, naturally caretakers. Now, in the middle of women being naturally caretakers and endeared with children, do you think a real woman that's sound of mind, healthy, could pass child marriage laws? Because she could bring herself to put children in harm's way when she's birthed children out herself. Do you think she can put she could bring herself to make child marriage laws after she's birthed out a child herself or children herself? A real woman now, a real mother. Could a real mother do that? So it's safe to say that these women, if there were any women involved in the 43 states child marriage process, if there was any women involved in that, they're not mothers, for sure. They're not mothers. When mothers are endeared with children and are caretakers, they have a history of being caretakers, obviously. Most of them, the good ones. How can a mother bring herself to make child marriage laws? Or a woman, a real woman. So let's just settle it now. They're not men, they're not women, they're not mothers, they're not fathers. They're past 43 states of child marriage. And they're not sound of mind. I know you thought all the crazy people was on the streets. But how can you esteem them as sound of mind when they passed their last child marriage law under the Trump administration? I don't care if Trump passed it or not. The last child marriage law was passed under the Trump administration, whether he passed it or not. In a time where obviously 3 years ago, where people are crazy about children, doing all this crazy stuff, if you do anything to them. So how they sound of mind to pass child marriage laws 3 years ago in a culture like this? That's not sound of mind, bro. That's not sound of mind. You lying to yourself. Man, you lying to yourself. Okay? You can play all the Jedi mind tricks you want. They're not sound of mind. And we can definitely say they are not mothers and fathers and real men and real women. And they're not sound of mind because when you're sound of mind, you make proper you make sound decisions. You make sound decisions, right? So how's that a sound decision in America when no one agrees with child sex at all? To make child marriage 3 years ago, how's that a sound decision? So they're sound of mind but doing that. So they're healthy people, good mothers and fathers, sound of mind passing child marriage laws that allows adults to marry children at any age. That's what the new law say. That sound of mind to you? While we're on the subject of mental stability, See, the problem is you've always esteemed these politicians as sound of mind. Yes, you did. You esteemed them as preachers almost. Donald Trump stands in front of a church with a Bible and y'all think he's a preacher. You act like it. But then you make everybody else show and tell. Boom, that's a 7 hour. Yeah, if I hold the Bible up to a church, that means nothing to you. Donald Trump does it. He's a preacher now. See, the problem is you've been esteeming these politicians as holy and pure and righteous, and they're not. And you still can't come to terms with the fact that they're not holy. They're not holy. I know you've been told this. That's like it's a form of white supremacy. You think they're holy because white supremacists think they're holy just based on their physical attributes. They think they're holier than you. They're the real holier than thou. You know who the real holier than thou is? These white supremacists that still influence your community, possibly. They're the real people that are holier than thou. I'm just showing you what holiness is. Yeah, it's a difference between being holier than thou and showing you the standard of what holiness is and holding up the standard as a banner. That's the difference. Showing you what holiness is, okay? Showing you what truth and facts and righteousness is, what sound of mind is. Because ain't no way you can tell me half of these people sound of mind. Come on, you got 43 states of child marriage and ain't nobody educated on it. Okay, how you sound of mind and you don't even know what's going on all around you? Man, you in the matrix or something. Can you explain to me how your whole culture don't know this? But they're sound of mind. They're more sound of mind than me. So I'm talking facts here, right? It's not something I pulled somewhere out of some unknown place in land, right? This isn't an imaginary, in other words, right? So how are they sound of mind when the information is right here for everybody to see and no one knows anything about this? No one does. So how are they sound of mind too? It's a little bit of you gotta say it's kind of a little bit of compromise on they soundness of mind too a little bit. As the American community, how you walking around here and nobody knows nothing? I mean, come on now, somebody listen. I'm not saying every single person should have known this, but nobody? Culturally speaking, no one? But yet you're running around like John Wayne for kids. That's what we tripping off of. It's not me that's doing it, it's you that's doing it. I'm just bringing a check. I'm just pulling the card. Because see, the bottom line is if these gang stalkers wouldn't have been doing all of this playing around with children and all these pedophile entrapment operations that they're doing out here, like this is a big fun Sunday carnival game. If they wouldn't have been doing all of that, man, you know what? This probably wouldn't have got provoked in the time frame that it did. You have them to think. You have them to applause to. Yeah. I mean, I was minding my business. But then, you know, me being the person that I am, I want to know what they doing then. Boom, ow. Oh, whoa. You trying to see what I'm doing, trying to see what you're doing. Yeah, I didn't just wake up one day and want to see what child marriage laws are. You kept playing games, bro. And a person like me is too educated. I'm going to go face what it all is in the face. That's the real man in me. Okay, you want to talk about it? Let's go talk about what's going on then. Let's talk about what really is. And see, many of you say you're real men and women, but you ain't faced these real issues. I'm not saying you're a pedophile, but when it comes to these real subjects on child sexuality, you get all immature and all sheepish. You got a sheepish smile on your face. Like you can't halfway talk about this without blushing. That's the real problem why half of y'all are not educated on it anyway. Because no one wants to put their mind in the middle of this situation. And therefore, that's why they did what all they did, because no one is mature enough to put their mind in this situation and talk about child sexuality here in America. You explain to me what it is then. It's an issue that's been put off the whole time. But yet you're not putting it off because you got people out here that's gang stalking using pedophile entrapment operations. So you're not kind of putting it off as an issue. But when it comes down to knowing the laws concerning it, you know nothing. Can you tell me how people can go to law school and not come back and tell us nothing about 43 states of child marriage? Can you explain to me how all across this country you got law universities, right? Law universities. I'm not saying they should go start a rampage. I'm talking about informing us. How come no one informed us? All these people are back and forth to law school every year, right? They're all going to law school, right? How come they ain't informed you yet? All these people in college, how come they informed you? They go all the way to college for 4 years. They come and go to college and do not come back to their communities and tell us anything, collectively speaking, about child marriage in 43 states in America. Now that ain't no now you see why I think the way I think. That ain't funny to you. All these people go to law school, man. Learn the laws. Pretty sure they figure out the laws on child sexuality, child sex laws. I'm pretty sure that's addressed. It's safe to say if they're going to be defending people, I'm pretty sure they're educated on child sex laws. It's safe to say that, right? So you're telling me they leave that part out? Boom, Al, that's a 7. You telling me they leave that part out when they go to law school? They leave the part out about child sex laws. That's what you would have me to believe. No, see, they like you. You know what they do? I'm gonna tell you exactly what they do. They skip over it psychologically. They go through it. They educate themselves, and they go through it, and they put their head down, and they don't really entertain the thoughts and the things that they're actually entertain that is actually before them. They do not entertain these child sex laws when they're brought before them when they're in law schools in these colleges. So they turn on blinders because they have not been strengthened in order to talk about these issues through their whole life. Their culture doesn't teach strengthening of the individual here in America to talk about child sexuality. They don't have a backbone concerning it. And yet you say I'm a coward. But your country doesn't even have a backbone to talk about these issues. You know why? Because you get all self-conscious. Oh my God, I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to think about it. Maybe I have a bad thought. Boom, Al. Maybe I have a bad thought if I keep thinking about this stuff. Well, you need to grow a backbone, don't you? You need to become a bull. You ever seen a bull? You need the backbone of a bull. That's what I got. Yeah, I can talk about it all. And I'm not getting off secretly about it either. Boom, Al. Yeah, I'm talking about it. I ain't getting off secretly either. Okay? So this is why we have what we have here in this country. We have people that don't have no backbone to talk about child sexuality. And then when you talk about it, they talk about you weird. No, I think you weird for not being able to address it as an issue. Your whole country has not addressed it as an issue. That's not weird to you? 43 states has child marriage and nobody knows. The only weirdos is the ones that got these child marriage laws. Let's settle this on who's weird and who's not, and who's strange and who's not, and who's quirky and who's all these other things. And who's a monster and who's not. You got 43 states of child marriage, big baby. Yeah, I mean, you can't be serious. Listen, man, you can't be serious. You're strange for having 43 states of child marriage. You're weirdos for having 43 states of child marriage, and you're monsters for having 43 states of child marriage. You like a type of child. So all these ways that you've esteemed everybody else to be, that's you. How can you act like somebody else is Freddy Krueger? Freddy Krueger didn't marry children. Hey, did Freddy Krueger marry children? He didn't, did he? So Freddy Krueger didn't marry children. So as far as pedophilia goes, the child marriage person is still worse than Freddy Krueger, right? It's just an educated observation. It's just an educated observation. All these games and all this folklore foolishness and legends that you have around suspected pedophiles or actual pedophiles pales in comparison to 43 states of child marriage. It pales in comparison. You don't see that. I know you want to ignore it, don't you? The nature of child marriage as a concept and as a design pales in everything else pales in comparison to this design. That someone could bring themselves that is a politician for your government. First of all, that's where the horrific part is that your politicians did it. Your politicians did it. That's the horrific part about it. That's the horrific part. Your politicians made these laws who's supposed to be beacons of truth and honor and integrity in your community. They're supposed to be leading you, and they the ones making child marriage laws. Huh? You can't be serious, man. That's all I'm saying. And I don't care who it is. I don't care if I don't care if it's secret societies. I don't care if it's police. I don't care who it is. They are all under 43 states of child marriage. They all of them. They ain't got no other. Do they got another government out there? Do the secret societies submit to another government? So they got this. So they're submitted to the same government that has 43 states of child marriage. They're submitted indirectly, whether they want to be or not. They get all their money here, their food here. The difference between me and them is I've made up my mind to oppose and resist it. They have not done it like I've done it. When you do it like I've done it, you talk about what I talk about. Well, you are not resisting with information. You're just sitting back quietly like a coward talking about you're not a part of it. Well, you're taking the money, you're taking the food, you got American networks that you deal with, you're networking with Americans. How are you really opposing? So it's a secret oppose from the secret society. You're secretly opposing as a secret society. Man, come on, man. That's a joke, man. Listen, you indirectly are in alliance with them. Okay? Until you open your mouth and you talk about it like I'm talking about it, we can't say you really oppose them. You can't be credited as a person, as a people or a society that is outside of the government. We can't, nah. You can't have your cake and eat it too, buddy. You can't. You're taking food, you're taking money, you're networking with the Americans, you're not talking out and speaking out, you're not saying it and doing it as we are. We don't care if it's wise or not wise. It's time to make your voice heard. I don't care if it's stupid or not stupid. It's time for it to be known. That's all I'm talking about. And see, that's what real lions do. You sitting up talking about, well, I wouldn't do it that way. Well, what way are you doing it? What way are you making it known to them that they have child marriage and the country has child marriage? How are you making it known to anybody? How are you making it known to them that they're wrong for doing it? You're so scared of them, you think you're going to die, don't you? That's how much of a coward you are. Yeah, don't worry about how I move. Listen, at the end of the day, even though you don't see me every day out in the streets, I don't have to be out there every day. Because when it comes down to it, let's keep it 100. When I go out there, they don't want no smoke. Let's keep it 100. You don't think I see that? So why am I going to go out there then? They don't want no smoke. Nobody wants it, man. So why am I going to go out there to prove that then? It's a lost cause, man. I've already pulled up. I've already came out there numerous times when they could have did anything, had any guns, and did whatever they wanted to do. I pulled up and they did nothing. It's a lost cause, man. Why you thinking I'm stuck in the house scared? I ain't scared. It's no reason for me to do it. But yet here I am doing something that shows how brave I am. I'm on this jack talking about what they doing in 43 states with child marriage, man. Why you want me to show an appearance? Because you know why? Because you want to be entertained. That's what it is. You don't really think I'm scared. You know I ain't scared. You want to be entertained every day. That's what it is. And listen, man, I ain't nobody tap dancer. I don't tap dance for the American community or the government. I don't tap dance. You want a tap dancer? You better go find some people that love it, that love drama. Drama kings and drama queens. I stay away from drama. It's people that love it though. They'll tap dance all the drama, tap dancing you want. Yeah, I come out there and nobody's out there. There's no smoke. You know what I'm saying? So why I'm gonna come out there? You know, why I'm gonna have the mindset to do that over and over again? Now I'm being prideful. You feel me? You want me to show you what real pride is? Coming outside all the time like I won't smoke. Boom, ow, that's a 7. If I start coming outside all the time, now you're going to think I'm being prideful. I would be. I'm coming out there like I won't smoke. Why? Why? It's like that's a drop in the bucket, whatever is out there anyway. It's a drop in the bucket to me. I don't care what it is. It's a drop in the bucket. That's what I'm saying. So why do I feel the need to go out there and prove anything when I've proved it? I pulled up and they ain't want nothing. I pulled up and nobody said nothing. Indirectly little stuff, but nothing to my face like this, that, and the third, like they projecting out there. No one has confronted me like that. By the way, for anybody that's in this country and world or they're thinking somebody must have came to me face to face talking about any of that, no one has done it. No one has done this. Now, how would you feel? No one ain't said nothing to you because they know they can't have a real conversation because it's all lies anyway. So they can't have the real conversation. So how would you feel? Oh, I'm going to continue to just pull up and come outside? It doesn't make sense to me, man. When I'm already naturally a homebody anyway. I'm naturally a homebody anyway because I'm a musician. I sit in rooms and write songs. I'm naturally... Just from me being a musician, I'm naturally a homebody. I naturally enjoy my own company. I'm a musician. I used to write songs. I used to sit around, listen to beats, write songs, listen to the songs, hours and hours and hours of making beats. As a producer, I had a keyboard, make beats for hours and hours and hours, tweaking beats and playing with different sounds. I'm used to being a homebody based on being a musician alone. So that's my style. That's my format. I have no problem with being in. It feels good to me. Why you think I'm suffering and I'm not? Okay? So, people act like, I'm running and ducking and hiding. I ain't ducking and hiding nothing. I come outside all random times of night, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, walk miles, and they can do anything. And they have not. They have not even done nothing at all. I just want you to know. I just want you to know because they'll paint pictures like I'm ducked in the house or something. When I pull up, they don't say nothing and they don't want no smoke. Okay, that's the real situation. That's all I wanted you to know. That's the real situation. I'm a musician. I'm naturally inclined to be in the home. I'm an extrovert too, but at the same time, I'm a balance. Being a Gemini, I'm an extrovert and an introvert. And I'm not going to be a social butterfly when I'm dealing with idiots. I'm not trying to be a social butterfly right now. You got COVID out there. That's a foundational reason for not trying to be a social butterfly. Why I need to be a social butterfly and prove that to you when COVID-19 is still out there. Yeah, you forgot about that. And people die every day. You forgot about that too. People still dying every day from COVID while you laxed. Laxed as can be. Man, people still dying from COVID, bruh. Listen, man. Listen. I don't have nothing to prove. I pride myself on being pure in mind, heart, and soul. And I pride myself on being the only one that showed you that child marriage is in 43 states of America. Nobody ain't tell you like that. Who else told you like that? Not the child marriage as an issue and breaking it down and dissecting it as an issue. Nah, I ain't talking about that. Because we could do that all day. I'm talking about someone telling you reality where they passed the last child marriage law 3 years ago under the Trump administration. Who else is telling you that? Who else told you that right there? That's what we talk. That's what I'm saying, bruh. Yeah, heck yeah. Ain't nobody else, and listen, ain't nobody else in your community did it on the like on a platform like me. They ain't telling you under the Trump administration they passed the last child marriage law. Who told you that? And told you 43 states with child marriage too, and the age of consent under 18 in 40 states. Who told you all of that together like that? All together matters, bro. Scattered, vague information means nothing. Vague, dusty, hazy information. What that mean? What that's gonna do to a society like this who halfway it wouldn't believe it anyway? What that's gonna do? You can go Google anything I'm talking about. If you don't believe me, you can go Google all of this. That's how confident I am in all of this information. Go Google anything I've said. You know what I mean? That's what we talking about. They got child marriage up here and they can't be serious playing any games at all, man. I don't care, bruh. They should have been real men and women, and we obviously see it's not in their nature when they got 43 states of child marriage. It's not in their nature to be real men and women. That's why this ain't got done. This is why this whole situation hasn't been taken care of properly, because they're not real men and women. Some of them are not. 2/4 of them are not. Something like that. You tell me, man. 1/3 of them not. They got 43 states of child marriage. Come on, you can't be serious. So why should I expect, or you expect, this to get solved in a manly, in a woman-like way, in an adult way? It's not going to get solved like that. I'm the only man around here. As far as this goes, and these issues goes, and this conflict goes, as far as my situation goes, and the people that's on the other side, between me and them, I'm the man. Who else is? Who else is adults in this situation? When they the ones that got 43 states of child marriage and they running around like playing games in a community that has this. No, you have to have a seat, man. That's what time of the show it is. For you to have a seat, bro. For real, I don't care what you think it's funny if you want to. It's still time to have a seat. You got 43 states of child marriage. No one finds it funny. While you're playing pedophile entrapment operation games, no one finds it funny when their whole country has child marriage now. Anybody still find it funny? Anybody find it entertaining? Didn't think so. So it's a lost cause, bruh. Just like it's a lost cause for me to come out there and show you every day that I'm not scared and I'm a 41-year-old man. I'm 41 years old, man. 9 years away from 50 years old. You think I have something to prove to street punks? Gamer street punks out there? Man, come on, man. You can't be serious. Yeah, you didn't realize my age. I'm not 20 years old, buddy. I am not 20. I could have a 20-year-old child at my age. I am not 20 years old. So I don't have anything to prove, in other words. Like a 20-year-old would have something to prove. You forgot about my age bracket. I don't have anything to prove. I've been to Los Angeles. I've lived everywhere. The West Coast. I live down south. I'm from down south. I've lived in New York off and on for over 10 years. Well, I don't have anything to prove. I don't live in Brooklyn, Harlem, East New York, and Staten Island. I don't have anything to prove. What do I have to prove? Nothing, man. And y'all got to prove everything. You got 43 states with child marriage. Yeah, you should see. But listen, I'm here in New York. You should know. Listen, this attitude should come second nature. It should, as far as understanding, you should understand this. Being here, it's like second nature to be like this. Man, I lived in East New York, Brooklyn, all throughout there. You think I just walked around by myself? I had to interact with lions, unaware and sometimes aware. That changed your whole energy. That's for the police. Yeah, bro. I done lived in East New York, Brooklyn, Staten Island, and in Harlem. I done been among lions. Los Angeles too, bro. Yeah, check yourself, man. You act like I'm some suburban kid that just plopped here from just somewhere in North Dakota or something. You tripping, man. And listen, that trippery that you got going on, we're going to call it that. That trippery that you got, man, listen, that's going to cost you, bro. Listen, man, you ain't bad, man. You got 43 states of child marriage. You ain't never going to be bad to me. And your country ain't going to never be cool again. How you cool and you got 43 states of child marriage? Ow, that's 7. Oh, you're cooler than me? How are you cooler than me when you got 43 states of child marriage? It looks like that's the end of your cool, don't it? Oh, so you're cool. Submitted to a country with 43 states of child marriage. Okay. Well, I don't want to be that kind of cool. Yeah, I don't want to be that kind of cool, bro. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care what you're doing. You got 43 states of child marriage. Listen, man, I'm the coolest person here. I'm the coolest person. Listen, I'm the coolest person here, man. Because I'm the only one connected to the work, to the real situations and the real issues here and addressing them in your country. How's somebody cooler than me? Oh, they cool, but they are completely oblivious to 43 states of child marriage. But they're cool though. Okay. Okay. I'll let you call it, man. In a teenager's world, bro. If somebody that's 13 and 14, you cool to them. How you cool? How you cooler than me when you got 43 states of child marriage, big baby? Come on, man. Listen, man. Listen, man. Stop playing yourself, man. Listen, man. Ain't no way around this, man. They got child marriage up in here, right? Listen, ain't nothing else to talk about, man. That's what I'm saying. Ain't nothing else to talk about. They think they got me in a game, and I'm not worried about that. You know, they got child marriage. I rule based off that. Because I'm the only one telling you. Anybody else told you the last child marriage law was passed under the Trump administration? Yes or no, bro? Yes or no? Did anybody tell you a child marriage law was passed under the Trump administration? Anybody tell you that? Nobody told you that, did they? Okay, so I'm the only one that told you. I'm the only one that told you. None of those Jedi mind tricks don't work on me, man. I know I'm good over here. I know I'm guarded against everything they're doing. And you can't use any other triggers to make it seem like I'm not good when they throw they little psychic and witch stuff. When they throw that and they think they won and then they try to trigger with something else, that don't work. See, people that know the language know what I'm talking about. That don't work. You try to trigger me, try to turn something off, turn something on as a trigger to what they doing as to confirm something that you think, an image of me that you think you got and you don't got. And it's really them that's doing it and bringing it. And it doesn't mean anything when it crosses my mind and it crosses my spirit. But you think you got a trigger. So you try to trigger with another situation and it doesn't work. Okay. I'm just letting you know. I am on the top of this. None of that works for me, buddy. You got child marriage in your country. You got child marriage up in here. That's what you got going. Okay? I don't care about none of those people that you talking about as cool. How are they cool when child marriage is here? I don't care about none of those sexy people or beautiful people that you esteem as sexy and beautiful. They got 43 states of child marriage. So now you see why it has to end. Because you will never be cool again until it do. You'll never be beautiful, totally beautiful until it goes away. Oh, you're strutting your stuff and beautiful and you got 43 states of child marriage? Oh boy, that's funny. You got 43 states of child marriage, but you strutting your stuff. Man, you can't be serious, bro. Hey, man, you could say it's not you, it's your country. That's worse. If it was you as an individual, it wouldn't be bad, would it? Well, you got pedophiles running around all around America. But the law system, yeah, that's actually worse, bro. So you point out it ain't you is irrelevant. It's irrelevant to the situation for you to point that out. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant to the situation. You have child marriage. Nobody's cool here. Nobody's beautiful totally until it's gone. So I just took over your cool. I just took over your beautiful. You're more beautiful than me when you ain't talking about 43 states of child marriage. You're more beautiful than me. When you're not talking about this, you're oblivious to it. You're more beautiful than me. Okay. Now you're a little oogly now. We ain't gonna call you ugly. You're a little oogly. You're a little oogly. You got child marriage, big baby. Listen, man, I know, man. I know you're mad, but who you mad at, me or yourself? Who you mad at, me or your country? Yeah, see, that separates the men from the boys, the girls from the women. Who are you actually mad at? Me or people that got child marriage in your country? Boom. Yeah, and you can be a sucker about it. You can be a lame sucker about it and be mad at me, which makes you retarded to me because I didn't make the child marriage laws. Your country did. Okay? They the ones that made it. You mad at me for talking about it? Man, come on, you can't be serious. Yeah, you ain't got tough as your skin ain't tough as you thought it was. You got 43 states of child marriage and you can't have a conversation, can you? Yeah, you mad about it, ain't you? Yeah, your skin ain't tough as you thought it was, huh? Yeah, you got 43 states of child marriage and I smell blood. Mm-hmm. Ain't no way around it because God is going to enforce it. You don't think God hears this? You don't think he see what I'm doing? God is not short-sighted, buddy. God knows the difference between a country not really knowing what is the acceptable age of interacting with children or human beings. God knows the difference between that and someone who is a strategic pedophile that is out here with child marriage, using a term called child marriage when that isn't even a valid term. How's a child in a marriage? It's not a valid term. Let's understand that too. It's an invalid term. A child is not capable of being in a marriage. Okay, it takes two in a marriage. How's a child in a marriage? Okay, they're strategic pedophiles, and you have not been aware of it. And now what's been done in the darkness is coming to the light. That's all it is. You should expect this to happen in the last days. You should expect this. Oh, you thought it was just all American secrets was gonna go to the grave. Well, sorry to tell you, it didn't happen that way. Sorry to tell you, it didn't happen that way. What is done in darkness has to come to the light. Okay? And you know, it can't be done in one video. It's ludicrous for you to think it can be when your whole country doesn't know anything about it. How it's gonna be done in one video? How can you make one video and the whole country knows? Because you got simple-minded people, one-track-minded people. Okay, we've heard it. You've heard it, but they didn't. That video didn't catch them that you heard. Okay? So now you're being simple-minded because you don't see the ongoing campaign of what I'm doing. He's saying the same thing. You sure about that? I'm hitting different satellites and dynamics of the situation. You just one-track minded and simple. I'm not talking about the same thing. Every time I'm talking about this issue, I'm addressing different satellites and components and dynamics. Yeah, that shows you how one-track minded you are because you don't know how to take a nucleus or a subject and then build satellites around it. Boom, ow, that's a 7. Yeah, that's all I'm doing is building satellites around the obvious situation of 43 states of child marriage. He talking about the same thing. No, you a little slow, that's all it is. You're a little slow, that's all. That's all it is, you're a little slow. Because I'm talking, if you listen closely, I'm talking about different details on the same subject, which gives people more of a solid definition of what is going on and clarifying it totally for what it is. You can't do it with one message. You can't do it with one component and satellite. You have to address many satellites with this situation. Now you see what I'm saying. Just like when you go to court, you can't say, well, you said what you said, you didn't do it. You're not guilty, we get it. But you have to address all the different components of why you're not guilty. That's a 7, Al. You have to address all the different dynamics of why you're not guilty. You have to address all the different components and put it all together to show why you're not guilty. You can't just go in there and say, oh, I'm not guilty. You can't just come in here and say, oh, America is guilty. They're guilty of child marriage. I can't just walk in here and say America is guilty of child marriage and walk away. People are going to say, okay. But see, you're not convinced. If you was the jury, let's just say you're the jury. You're not convinced if I just come in here and say, America got child marriage. Boom, ow. And I do a little boom, ow, and walk away. What you gonna say? Okay. And because most of you Americans are not, I'm just being honest, I'm not trying to insult you. You're not able to think in many different avenues. You think one way and then you think about it and then you don't do all the other satellite thinking. So because of that, I have to come in and do all the thinking for you. So that's why I gotta go. Like if you're in court, okay, America's guilty of child marriage. Boom, you got it right. You got that part. You got it right. Now we got to go to all the different components and dynamics to persuade you that it's not as they've made it to be. Because you still can hear this and think, well, they're not really wrong. I'm showing you basically how they're wrong. So that's what this is. When you go to a courtroom, somebody say, well, this person got child marriage. They got 43 states of child marriage. America got 43 states of child marriage. You can't just walk away saying that. You can't say, oh, we hear you. No, you're your size. Really, you're doing a Jedi mind trick where you want it to stop. You really want it to stop because you're kind of still on America's side. That's all it really is. And you're not insulting my intelligence. So how I'm going to break it down to you, since you seem so simple, is if we was in the courtroom, I couldn't just walk in and say, well, you got 43 states of child marriage in America and walk away. You couldn't do it like that. I have to convince you as the community and the world community that these people are pedophiles and that they should cease as a system because they have incriminated other people without proper evidence, which is the fatal cocktail of doing the very same thing that they're doing. Now you see what I'm saying? I had to bring also into the courtroom, if you will, the fact that they've accused other people in this American community of doing the very thing that their government is doing by law. So how am I gonna get that done in one video? It's not reasonable to even think so. And that's why we've had to do this for months and months. Now you see what I'm saying. Now you're getting it. Something like this, where you had no knowledge of it. It took months for me to get to this point with you. Now you see, they like a type of child. They do. They like a type of child sexually when they have 43 states of child marriage. And so what we want to do is we want it to be applicable to all the game stalkers that's been playing game with children. We want it applied to them too. Because they at the end of the day, they're here with a social security number. They get funds from the American government and community. They're submitted to the American government, which has 43 states of child marriage, and they don't have their own government. If they had their own government and own funds and their own currency, then we could say they're a secret society. That's childish foolishness. So because they are part of the American community, right, by social security number, we want them to take the part of the liability of 43 states of child marriage too. Well, you went around playing games and you got 43 states of child marriage here, secret society. You try to use the Jedi mind trick of you being a secret society, and it doesn't work on me. You have a social security number, you get funds from this country, you're submitted to this government, voila. You are a part of the community. I know, maybe you're losers and maybe you didn't ever feel like it, so you just went to the extreme of saying you're a secret society. But let me help you a little bit with that. You are part of the society. You are. I know you was rejected, wasn't you? But you are part of the society, and because of what you've done, you have the liability with the American government. Okay? You should have knew. You shouldn't have walked around playing games with children, and here they are with 43 states of child marriage, the government that you're submitted to, getting money from, eating from, which some people would consider pedophile feed, like a big bag of pedophile feed. Why you've been partaking of pedophile feed, if you will, through the funds that you've been getting from American jobs in the American government. They had 43 states of child marriage. You gang stalking at the same time when they got child marriage in your country, buddy. Why you take a pedophile feed in? Huh? That's how we got you. You can't. Yeah, it's convenient for you to say you're independent now. It's very who intelligence are you insulting? It's very convenient for you to say that now, but it's not going to hold up, buddy. It's not going to hold up when we know you've depended on this country. When we know you've taken the funds and you've also networked with the Americans and utilized them for your own purposes. So how can you say you're a secret society, but you're utilizing outside people that's not a part of your society? You're not as secret as you think you are. You just use it as a Jedi mind trick, and it doesn't work. You want privacy because you're crazy. So you call yourself a secret society so you can do crazy stuff. In other words, you want to be a private society, and it's impossible. Okay, you're subject to you're subject to what the American government wants to do, and you're subject to the American government in general. Okay, that sums it up. Which in the punchline is you should have been aware of what they were doing with children. So it's convenient for you to say, well, even though we submitted to this government, we didn't know what they were doing. So, we shouldn't have done that when they were marrying children, and here we are out here playing games with children. Yeah, woulda, shoulda, coulda. Ask anybody in the world where that gets you. What does woulda, shoulda, coulda get you? Nothing. And you're not going to get nothing. All you're going to get is punishment and no mercy. Because people like you are the scum of the earth to me. That's 7 Al. You are the scum of the earth. And I tell you, I don't care how other Christians take it. You are the scum of the earth. In the Bible, it talks about vessels of honor and vessels of dishonor. I'll just say that. The Bible says in the Bible it says that there is vessels, meaning bodies, people. There are vessels of honor and dishonor. Vessels of clay, silver, and gold, etc., etc. You are vessels of dishonor to your community. You played games and was complete, absolute morons and oblivious to the full nature of your community, yet you claim to be illuminated. Yet you claim to be enlightened in your mind. Well, you wasn't enlightened enough to tell us about 43 states of child marriage. Now, were you? For all the Masons, the Freemasons, you got 33 degrees of masonry. You got 33 degrees of masonry, but yeah, here you are. Well, you act like you don't understand that you got child marriage in your country. Oh, now you don't understand. So how can you rule over us? Idiots that do not understand what we understand. Huh? I'm going to let you rule over me, and you didn't know child marriage was here? You did not know child marriage was here as Freemasons of 33 degrees of masonry. And all your 33 degrees of masonry, you didn't know there was 43 states of child marriage here. So you lose. You got all this stuff on TV with you, just like the rest of the Americans, when you're interacting with children and you're so protective. It's all foolishness. It's all foolishness. When you got 43 states of child marriage, it's foolishness. Now you see why it has to all end. It's the end of times. And God knows what he's doing. And guess what's happening? You're ending. I know. You knew the end of times was coming, and here it is. Here it is. It's the end of times, big baby. You got 43 states of child marriage, and no one will feel the need to obey you anymore. Anybody feel the need to obey a country that's marrying children? You feel the need to do that. Think about it really within yourself. Should you be submitted to men that marry children? Who are they to tell you what to do at all? So a pedophile is able to tell you how to conduct your life. So you would listen to a pedophile telling you anything on morality. That's why I got to do a video on this, just saying it. See, it's got to be said in different ways, bro. Because it resonates. It brings it home. It convinces you. How can a pedophile tell you how to live your life? You got 43 states of child marriage. How can the law system, these lawmakers and politicians, how can they tell you how to live your life? You know what I'm saying? Why would you submit to a pedophile? A pedophile tell you, boy, you better not do that. You're going to look at that pedophile like, boy, you crazy, boy. You done lost your mind, boy. You better stop playing with them kids. Trying to tell me what to do. You know what you need to do? You need to stop playing with them kids in 43 states. Stop playing with them kids in 43 states. That's what you need to do. Crazy. Sitting up worried about my morality. Only morality y'all need to worry about, collectively speaking, as a community. The only morality you need to worry about is this child marriage up in here. That's the only thing you need to worry about. You don't need to worry about nothing else, man. That's enough. Listen, that's enough to focus on for right now. Let's admit that part. Let's admit that it's enough to focus on right now. All right? You got 43 states of child marriage. That's enough work for you. For all you vigilantes, all you Batman for children kind of guys, you know the type. You know the type. You know, you probably met one of them. Come around, sit in your room, halfway talking. Like they're a Batman type of meet Crow kind of person. The Crow, you know, Bruce Lee's son, they kind of shadowy. You know, they got the Crow thing going on. They got that Crow persona meets Rambo, meets Batman, those three right there. And then they act like they protecting children. Well, how come that guy's MIA or that woman's MIA when it comes to child marriage in America? That's a joke, man. That's what I'm trying to show you, man. That's what, so whatever personas y'all got going on, all of that, I crush all of that, man. Don't you get it? I don't care what persona you got going on. That's what I'm trying to show you, man. Walking around like they the Crow, like Bruce Lee's son, some shadowy Avenger. Well, while you was being a shadowy Avenger, they put child marriage in your country 3 years ago with the new child marriage law under the Trump administration. Now, where was you, shadowy Avenger? Where were you, shadowy Avenger? This is all foolishness. Listen, man, it's all foolishness. The real shadowy Avenger is me. You don't see me. You barely see me. You don't see me outside of your community. You barely do. And I'm avenging concerning this child marriage when they played with me. Okay? I'm the one. I'm not even trying to be that person. But yeah, here you are trying to be one.